You are holding money right now, maybe in your wallet, maybe in your bank account, maybe in your thoughts. But have you ever considered that money is alive, not just numbers, not just paper, but a presence, watching you, listening to you, responding to the way you treat it? Pause for a moment. Imagine if money were a person. How would you describe your relationship with it? Do you welcome it warmly? Do you avoid eye contact, pretending it is not there? Do you fear it or silently resent it? Because here is the secret. Your relationship with money is not neutral. Every thought you think about it, every emotion you attach to it, every word you speak about it, creates the way it behaves in your life. If you constantly call money hard to get, it listens. If you speak about money as if it is always leaving you, it obeys. If you treat money as a guest you distrust, it visits briefly and then disappears. But what if money were waiting for you to finally look it in the eye? What if money wanted to be treated with respect, the way you would treat a wise teacher or a close friend? Abdullah, the mysterious mentor of Neville Goddard, taught something very few people know. He hinted that prosperity is not about numbers or effort. It is about relationship, a living relationship with the unseen. And tonight, you are going to discover what happens when you treat money as a person. Stay with me, because by the end of this journey, you will no longer see money as paper or digits on a screen. You will see it as presence, as intelligence, as a mirror, revealing back to you what you secretly believe about yourself. And once you understand this, you will never look at money the same way again. If these words already stir something inside you, then you are exactly where you need to be. And before we go deeper, pause and subscribe to this channel right now, because here we do not speak of money as the world does. We speak of money as a living mystery, a presence that can befriend you, guide you, and stay with you. Now, close your eyes for a moment. Picture money not as paper, not as digits, but as a person, standing before you, waiting for you to acknowledge it, waiting for you to speak to it, waiting for you to listen. This is the door, and once you walk through it, you cannot go back. Let us begin. The mystery of living money. You were taught that money is an object, paper, metal, digits on a screen. You were told it has no soul, no voice, no consciousness, but deep inside, you sense that this is not the full truth. Why? Because your emotions change the moment money enters or leaves your life. A sudden payment brings joy. An unexpected bill brings fear. And yet the paper has not changed. The digits are the same. Only your relationship to it changes. This is the first clue. Money is not lifeless. It responds to you. It carries the energy of your perception. Think of it this way. When you hold money, it feels different depending on how you see it. In your hand, the same dollar bill can feel like power or like pressure. It can feel like freedom or like chains. And none of this is written on the paper. It is written in you. So here is the mystery. If money can feel alive in your perception, what if it truly is alive? What if your imagination does not simply decorate reality, but reveals what has been hidden? Pause and reflect. Money has always been a mirror of human consciousness. When people love it, it multiplies. When they fear it, it hides. When they abuse it, it slips away. It acts as if it were a character in the story of your life. This is why some treat money like a loyal friend, and it stays. Others treat it like an enemy, and it resists. And most treat it like a stranger, and it never lingers for long. You might ask, but how can money be alive? The answer lies not in the paper or digits, but in what Neville called consciousness. Everything you experience, everything you call real, is animated by consciousness. And money, too, lives inside this field of awareness. When you imagine money as lifeless, You cut yourself off from its mystery, but when you dare to imagine money as presence, something shifts. You begin to listen, you begin to feel its responses, you begin to see how it mirrors your inner dialogue. This is why the ancient mystics and sages spoke of wealth as spirit. They personified it, they gave it names, they treated it as divine, not because they were naive, but because they understood that respect awakens relationship. Now I ask you, how have you been treating money? As a friend? As an enemy? As a silent stranger? Take a breath. Because once you change the way you treat it, money itself begins to change the way it treats you. This is the mystery of living money, and this is where Abdullah enters the story. The man who taught Neville Goddard to see beyond appearances. The man who knew that prosperity is not about objects, but about presence. We are about to step into his world. You have heard of Neville Goddard, his lectures, his words, his revelations about imagination. But before Neville, there was Abdullah, a man who did not speak much in public, a man wrapped in mystery. Yet his presence shaped one of the most powerful spiritual teachers of the 20th century. Abdullah was not gentle. He was fierce. When Neville came to him uncertain and struggling, Abdullah did not comfort him with soft words. He looked him in the eye and spoke as if reality had already changed. When Neville wanted to visit his family in Barbados but had no money, Abdullah declared, "You are in Barbados. You went there in spirit. You will have the ticket." And Neville did, without begging, without struggle. The money appeared, the ticket arrived, and the trip happened. This was Abdullah's way. He did not negotiate with doubt, he commanded. He spoke as if the unseen world were already obeying, and it did. Now pause and consider this. Abdullah lived in New York during the Great Depression, while many feared money, while many starved and cursed their lack. Abdullah lived as if abundance were his companion, not as numbers in a bank, not as chance, but as a presence, a force that responded to certainty. This is the hidden secret. Abdullah did not treat money as paper. He treated it as relationship, as spirit, as friend. He saw money as obedient to the law of consciousness, and so money obeyed him. Think about the difference. Most people chase money like a frightened beggar chases scraps. They see it as outside of themselves, distant, unreachable. But Abdullah stood firm. He spoke as if money were already at his table, already listening, already serving his vision, because to him, money was not an object. It was a personified presence within consciousness itself. This is why Neville remembered his mentor with such awe. Abdullah did not just give him lessons, he gave him a new way of seeing, a new way of imagining, a new way of relating to reality. And what did Abdullah insist? That the key is always inside you, the way you see the world, the way you speak to the unseen, the way you treat money in the silence of your imagination. Now ask yourself, if you sat across from Abdullah tonight, what would he say to you? Would he say, money is difficult, money is scarce? Never. He would say, you already have it. You already are it. Stand in that state until the world bends to it. This was his gift to Neville, and now through Neville, his gift reaches you. So listen carefully, because the next step will change the way you see money forever. You are about to learn what happens when you treat money not as paper, but as a person. The secret of treating money as a person. Up until now, you have been told that money is neutral, that it has no feelings, that it cannot hear you. But what if that is the very belief keeping it away from you? Abdullah taught something that seems almost too simple, yet it carries tremendous power. He showed Neville that the way you relate to money determines the way money relates to you. And here is the hidden law: treat money as a person, and it will respond as one. Pause and think about it. How do you treat people in your life? When you respect them, they respect you. When you ignore them, they drift away. When you fear them, they avoid you. When you love them, they return to you again and again. Money is no different. But what do most people do? They curse money. They say it's never enough. They speak of it with resentment. They say money doesn't grow on trees. They call it the root of all evil. And then they wonder why it avoids them. Would you stay close to someone who constantly insults you? Would you reveal your secrets to someone who fears your presence? Of course not. Neither does money. Now imagine for a moment that money walks into the room, not as paper, not as numbers, but as a person. How would you greet it? Would you turn away, pretending you do not care? Would you panic, feeling unworthy of its presence? Or would you look it in the eyes and say, "Welcome, I am glad you are here. Sit with me." This is the secret. Money responds to acknowledgement, to gratitude, to respect. When you treat money as if it were listening, it begins to behave differently. Try this tonight. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. Picture money as a person standing before you. Not cold, not cruel, but wise, patient, waiting for you to speak. Now tell it how you truly feel. Thank it for the times it has carried you. Apologize for the times you feared it or cursed it. And then listen. Listen for the reply that rises within you. Because money, as consciousness, has something to say back. This practice may feel unusual at first, but as you continue, you will feel a shift, a new warmth, a new closeness. Money will no longer feel like a stranger, it will feel like a companion. And once you see money as a person, you can no longer mistreat it. You will begin to honor it, to invite it, to keep it near. This is the hidden law Abdullah lived by. And it is the beginning of transforming not only your finances, but your relationship with life itself, the power of inner dialogue with money. Every moment of your life, you are speaking to yourself. A quiet stream of words. Some you notice, most you do not. This stream is called your inner dialogue. And whether you realize it or not, money listens, not to your wishes, but to the constant tone of your inner conversation. Think of how you usually speak about money in silence. Do you say to yourself, "It's never enough"? Do you whisper in worry, "How will I pay for this"? Do you imagine bills stacking higher than you can manage? These thoughts are not harmless. They are commands. They are instructions. They shape the behavior of money in your life. Neville Goddard said, "Your inner conversations are creating your reality." And Abdullah showed him how to master them. When Neville was tempted to complain about lack, Abdullah would cut him short. He would not allow words of fear. Instead, he demanded inner dialogue filled with certainty, filled with the end already achieved. Now imagine this. If money were sitting across from you as a person, would you speak to it the way you usually do? Would you constantly tell it, "You never stay"? Would you accuse it, "You are so hard to get"? Would you insult it with words like, "You ruin everything"? No, because if you did, that person would stand up and leave. So why do you speak to money this way in your inner dialogue? Why do you rehearse rejection and then expect money to remain with you? Here lies the hidden power. When you shift your inner conversation, you shift the entire atmosphere of your life. If, instead of worry, you begin to say, "Money is always here with me. Money enjoys staying close to me. Money supports me with ease," then money hears this. It feels welcomed, it feels respected, and it responds. This is not about pretending or lying to yourself. It is about realizing that your words carry power. Your inner dialogue is a seed, and money grows according to the seed you plant. Tonight, as you prepare to sleep, listen carefully to what you say about money. Catch the whispers of doubt. Replace them with words of respect. Speak to money as if it were a guest in your home. Speak to it with warmth. Speak to it with gratitude. And do not be surprised when money begins to show up in ways you did not expect. Because now, You are no longer pushing it away with careless words. You are inviting it closer with conscious dialogue. This is the law Abdullah lived by. This is the secret Neville carried to the world. And this can be the turning point for you. So ask yourself tonight, what is the conversation you are having with money? Because whether you notice it or not, money is listening. Practical exercise. A conversation with money. Now it is time to move from idea into practice, because concepts only remain shadows in the mind until you bring them to life through imagination. And as Neville always said, imagination is reality. So tonight, you are going to practice a sacred conversation. Not with a stranger, not with an abstract force, but with money, as if it were a person. Sit quietly, close your eyes, breathe slowly, and picture yourself in a simple room. It could be your bedroom, your living room, any place where you feel at ease. Now imagine the door opening, and into the room walks money, not paper, not coins, but a person, perhaps dressed in simple clothes, perhaps radiant, glowing with confidence. See them as a presence both familiar and mysterious. They are smiling gently. They are waiting for you. Notice how you feel. Do you feel nervous? Do you feel ashamed? Do you feel curious, excited, or even afraid? Whatever emotion rises, allow it. Because money is not here to judge. It is here to reveal. Now, take a deep breath and speak. You can say, "Thank you for coming," or "I have missed you," or "I am ready to know you." Pause and listen, because in this silence, money will answer, not with a loud external voice, but with impressions, with feelings, with inner whispers. Perhaps money says, "I wanted to come closer, but you kept pushing me away with your fear." Perhaps it says, "I am not against you. I am here to support you." Perhaps it says, "When you treat me with respect, I stay. When you fear me, I leave." Let this dialogue unfold. Let the presence of money speak as long as it needs. Now imagine offering it a place in your life. Tell it, "You are welcome here. You are safe here. You belong with me." Notice how money responds. Does it smile? Does it move closer? Do you feel lighter in your chest, as if a burden has lifted? Stay in this feeling for a few breaths, because this is more than an exercise. It is the beginning of a new relationship. From now on, whenever fear arises about bills, about expenses, about lack, return to this conversation. Close your eyes. Invite money back into the room. Speak to it as a friend and listen for what it reveals. Remember, money is not against you. It is not hiding from you. It is responding to the way you imagine it. And once you treat money as a person, as presence, as ally, you will never feel the same way about it again. When money answers back. When you begin to treat money as a person, something subtle happens. At first, it feels like imagination, a little strange, a little uncomfortable. But then, slowly, you notice money begins to answer. Not always with words, but with signs, with movements, with changes in your outer world. You might suddenly receive an idea, a gentle thought, "Call this person," or "Check your email." You follow it, and there an opportunity waits. You might walk into a store and notice a discount that appears at the exact right time. You might overhear a conversation that gives you the solution you needed. You might open your mailbox and see unexpected money arrive. And when it does, you pause and remember the conversation you had in silence. It feels as if money was whispering back, arranging events in your favor. This is not coincidence. This is law, because consciousness is the only reality. And when you change your inner dialogue, your outer world must obey. Neville taught this over and over. He said, "The world is yourself pushed out," which means money in your outer life is nothing more than your inner state made visible. If you speak to money with fear, the world gives you reasons to fear. If you speak to money with respect, the world gives you reasons to respect it. If you welcome money as a person, the world arranges itself to welcome it too. And the beauty of this is simple. The more you practice, the stronger the response becomes. At first it feels faint, but then it grows louder. The conversation becomes clear, the relationship becomes alive. Now let me give you a practice. The next time you receive money, whether it is $1 or 1,000, pause before you use it. Hold it in your hand, look at it, and imagine you are greeting a friend. Say silently, "Thank you for coming. I'm glad you are here." And when money leaves your hand, when you pay a bill, when you buy something, do not curse it. Do not say, "There goes my money." Instead, bless it. Say, "Go with love, return with friends," because money responds like a living being. When you send it away with anger, it hesitates to return. When you send it with respect, it comes back multiplied. This is what happens when money answers back. It begins to show you that it was never against you. It was never cold. It was waiting for you to notice it, to speak to it, to respect it. And now, it speaks in return. Stories of transformation, Neville and students. Stories carry power. They awaken something in you that pure concepts cannot. So let us step into the lives of those who discovered what happens when money is treated as presence, as a living companion instead of a lifeless object. Neville himself often told the story of his desire to return to Barbados. He was broke, no money for a ticket, no chance, according to the world. But Abdullah refused to listen to doubt. He declared, "You are in Barbados, not you will be, not someday, but already." And so Neville lived in the state of already being there. He walked the streets of New York while inwardly walking the beaches of Barbados. And then, as if by magic, money appeared. An old benefactor gave him the ticket, not through begging, not through struggle, but through inner certainty. Do you see the secret? The moment Neville stopped treating money as a cruel master and instead treated it as a loyal servant, it obeyed. It came. It carried him where he needed to go. But it was not only Neville. Countless students of his teachings reported the same. One woman wrote to him, desperate about her rent. Her inner dialogue had been filled with fear. "I can't pay. I will be thrown out." Neville instructed her to shift the conversation, to imagine her landlord smiling, thanking her for prompt payment, to feel the relief of already having the money. At first, she resisted. It felt foolish. But then something changed. She began to imagine money as a friend, knocking at her door, carrying the rent in hand. Within days, unexpected funds arrived, not from where she expected, but in perfect timing. The rent was paid. The fear dissolved. Another student spoke of treating every bill with respect. Instead of cursing, "These bills are killing me," she spoke, "These bills are evidence of my abundance." Money always comes to meet them. And it did, over and over, until she noticed that her entire financial life had softened. No more panic, no more dread. A steady rhythm of money flowing in and out like a trusted friend. What do these stories reveal? That money is not dead, that it listens, that it responds to the way you treat it. If you treat it as enemy, it hides. If you treat it as stranger, it remains distant. But if you treat it as person, as presence, as companion, it draws closer. It reveals secrets. It multiplies. This is why Neville never tired of repeating, "Dare to assume, dare to imagine, dare to speak," as if it were already done. Because the moment you do, money responds, just as a person would. These stories are not meant to remain in the past. They are mirrors, showing you what is possible for your own life. And now, the time has come for the climax. To see what truly unfolds when you embody this relationship completely. The transformative climax. There comes a moment when the practice stops feeling like imagination and becomes reality, a turning point, a shift so deep that you cannot return to the old way of thinking. When you treat money as a person long enough, something extraordinary happens. It stops being paper, it stops being numbers, it becomes a living presence, not outside of you, but within you. You begin to notice its companionship, the way ideas come at the right time, the way opportunities seem to appear exactly when you need them, the way you no longer feel abandoned by life. It is not that every problem vanishes overnight. It is that you are no longer the same person facing them. You stand differently. You speak differently. You carry yourself as one who walks with a trusted friend. This is the climax, the realization that money has never been against you. It has only mirrored the way you imagined it. And when you change that image, everything bends to it. Imagine this moment. You sit quietly, and instead of fear, you feel warmth. Instead of panic, you feel calm. You look at your bills and no longer curse them. You bless them. You see them as signs of life flowing, proof that you are trusted with exchange. And then you imagine money entering the room like an old friend, and it does not feel strange. It feels natural. From here, something deeper awakens. You realize that money is only the beginning. If money can respond like a person, then so can health, so can relationships, so can every area of life. Because all of reality is consciousness. All of it responds to the way you treat it. This is the transformation Neville carried from Abdullah, that you are not a beggar in a cold universe. You are the host, the chooser, the one who gives presence its meaning, and as you shift within, the outer world must obey. This is why the climax is not about receiving a certain amount of money. It is about something greater. It is about finally realizing that you live in a responsive universe, that nothing is dead, nothing is neutral, everything listens. And now you see, money has always been alive. It has always been waiting for you. Not to chase it, not to fear it, but to look it in the eyes and say, "You are welcome here, stay with me." And when you speak these words with conviction, your life changes permanently. This is the climax. The moment you can never go back to the old way of seeing, the moment you are reborn into abundance, a new vision of money. Now we arrive at the end of this journey, but in truth, this is not an end. It is a beginning. You began this video seeing money as paper, as digits, as something outside of you, cold, distant, indifferent. But now you see what Abdullah knew, what Neville lived, that money is not dead. It is alive, it listens, it responds, it reflects the way you treat it. This is the secret very few dare to live, because it requires more than thought. It requires relationship. It requires you to look at money not as master or enemy, but as companion. And when you do, everything changes. You no longer chase money. You no longer curse it. You no longer fear its absence. Instead, you invite it. You respect it. You listen to it. From this day forward, you can never see money the same way again, because now you know every word you speak about it is heard. Every thought you entertain about it is received. Every emotion you project toward it is answered. So the question is no longer, will money come? The question is, how will I treat it when it does? Take this practice with you. Each morning, greet money as a person. Thank it for being near. Bless it when it goes out. Welcome it when it returns. Let your inner dialogue be the language of respect. And watch. Watch how opportunities shift. Watch how doors open. Watch how life bends to the new image you carry inside. Because the truth is simple. You are never alone. Not even in your finances. Presence is always with you. And money is one of its many faces. If these words have touched something in you, then I invite you now, subscribe to this channel, not because of numbers, not because of algorithms, but because here, together, we are exploring the deeper laws of consciousness, laws that can remake not only your finances, but your entire life. So subscribe now and share in the comments. What did money say to you when you finally spoke to it? Because your words may inspire someone else to begin their own conversation tonight. And remember, this is not the final chapter. In our next journey, we will go deeper into the power of silence, because silence is the room where money speaks the loudest. Until then, carry this truth with you. Money is not paper, not digits, not neutral. It is alive, it is presence, it is listening. And now it is waiting for you.